Alright, we are live on YouTube, starting us up on Rumble. Good afternoon, hello, welcome to This Day in History, aka TDH. I am AO Xander. We will be joined by the Golden Loon here shortly. And you, thank you for so much for coming in. Today is Sunday, aka Sunday, February 1st, 2026. This show is about interesting and important events that happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Starting with the year 72, we have Adrian I began his reign as Pope of the Catholic Church. Another 72, Pope Hadrian I was elected. I don't know why they didn't combine these two, because this is obviously the same guy. Moving on up to 1411, the first Peace of Thorn was signed in Torin, monastic state of the Teutonic Knights, also known as Prussia. It makes me wonder if that was Tartaria. 1587, Queen Elizabeth I of England signed the death warrant for her cousin Mary, Queen of Scots. 1622, English East India Company forces captured the Portuguese fort of the island, on the island of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, an important trading center on the route to Mughal India. 1662, Dutch garrison on Formosa surrendered to Chinese pirates. From the other source, it says here the Chinese general Kogzina seized the island of Taiwan after a 9-month siege. So we have one source calling these pirates, the other source calling this led by a general, and this is an actual military campaign. Hence the importance of utilizing multiple sources, no matter what you're researching, be it news, current events, entertainment, movies, getting a second or third opinion on a doctor diagnosis, or in this case, historical, evidence. 1669, French King Louis XIV limited freedom of religion. That is not nice. 1709, British sailor Alexander Selkirk was rescued by William Dampier after being marooned alone on an island in the South Pacific for 4 years, inspiring Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. And here's an image of that. He's out here, what appears to be entertaining wild animals, out here dancing like a lunatic, on the island of Juan Fernandez. 1713, the Kalabalik, or Trimut in Bender, Ottoman troops of Sultan Ahmed III attacked camp and seized his unwelcome guest, King Charles XII of Sweden. From the other source here, says the Kalabalik of skirmish at Bender resulted from the Ottoman Sultan Ahmed III's order that his unwelcome guest, King Charles XII of Sweden, be seized. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're here now in 1732. Parliament of Ratisbon accepted pragmatic sanctions.
I missed too much, huh?
You missed a little bit at the beginning, but you can always rewatch the first couple minutes of the show. What are the pragmatic sanctions here? It says here, it is a pragmatic sanction is a sovereign solemn decree on a matter of primary importance and has the force of fundamental law. In the late history of the Holy Roman Empire, it referred more specifically to an edict issued by the emperor. Wow. When used as a proper noun, well, whatever. This is in 1732, so the Holy Roman Empire is way gone by 1732. So once again, what are these pragmatic sanctions? I'm just gonna look up this article here really quick, because that refers to something entirely. Well, this is the same thing it's giving me. So, if anyone could let us know in the comments section, that'd be great. But for the sake of time, we got to keep moving. 1783, English-German astronomer William Herschel announced the star Lambda Hercules was close to the solar apex. Don't really know what that means, but it sounds interesting. 1788, the first U.S. steamboat patent was issued by Georgia to Briggs and Longstreet.
Steamboats, huh?
Yeah. 1790, the U.S. Supreme Court convened for the first time in New York City.
Ah.
Yeah. 1793, a patent was granted to Ralph Hodgson, New York, for oiled silk and linen. No idea what that is. Just oiled silk and linen. I initially looked this up here, and I'll show you. I'll show you what I found. I just found people in various garbs. So I wonder if this is an oiled silk or linen. Is it like a way of washing it or something? I don't know. Now, 1796, the capital of Upper Canada was moved from Newark to York. All right. 1809, the Dutch King Louis Napoleon accepted metric system. Ah. 365 days later, 1810, we have the first insurance company managed by black Stadians, the African Insurance Company, opened in Philadelphia. All right.
Insurance, huh?
Yeah. 1810 as well, Seville, Spain surrendered to the French without a fight. That is rather odd. Usually it's the French who surrender without a fight. So, 1810 as well, the U.S. population was at 7,239,881. Blacks being 19% of that at 1,377,808. So that's.
Of course, that begs the question: what's the population today?
Well, it's 11 or 10 or something like that. Because yesterday we went over a census like that.
At least doubled by then.
Well, no.
Years.
No. It's actually down.
Years.
No, it's down because, and we've spoken about this. All the Planned Parenthood stuff and everything. All of that against the black community. It has worked. Unfortunately.
Well, yeah. That's definitely worked negatively against the black community.
Oh, yes.
Big time.
Yes. No, because yesterday, in the past couple of days, we've spoken about various population censuses, talking about the black population, and this is the highest I've seen it. Usually it's at 11 or 10 or 9%. So this is the highest I've seen it at 19, which tells me everything that I've learned about what you said. You've been part of this education about the whole Planned Parenthood and all that stuff. It's done its job, and that's really spooky. 1814, Lord Byron's Corsair sold 10,000 copies on the day of publication. That is very successful right there.
That's hot.
Yeah. We also have 1814, the volcano Mayon on Luzon, Philippines, erupted, killing 1,200 people.
Yikes.
It was the most devastating eruption of this volcano that we have on record. 1835, slavery was abolished in Mauritius.
Where?
Mauritius?
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. 1840, Baltimore College of Dental Surgery, the first in the U.S., was incorporated. All right. 1842, the first adhesive postage stamps in the U.S. were issued by Alexander Craig City Dispatch Post Company in New York City.
Adhesive.
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder, how before that, were there postage stamps? Oh, and here's an image of that volcano.
Well, probably had to have a rubber stamp or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the melting of the wax. Yes, you're right.
That was to seal a letter.
But it could also be a stamp.
Yeah, I don't recall that, anyways.
Well,
in history.
Well, I don't know. I'm talking about hundreds of years back.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, post, used to be only, correspondence of any kind used to only be between people of higher social status.
That's how, you put a stamp on now, well, we still cancel it with a stamp, with a ink stamp. Now it's done with a machine, not hand stamped.
Yeah. 1843, the oldest continuous writer of insurance in America opened, the Mutual Life Insurance Company of New York, MONY. Money. Wow. Really. They couldn't come up with a less on-the-nose title or name. 1856, Auburn University was chartered as the East Alabama Male College.
Male college?
Yep.
I wonder if Auburn's still all male. I doubt it.
I don't know. 1860, the first rabbi to open House of Representatives, Morris Raphael of New York City. Cool. 1861, Texas seceded from the Union, which precipitated the American Civil War. And then about a week later, they joined the Confederacy.
Jeez.
Yep. 1862, Ralph Waldo Emerson and Charles Sumner met with President Abraham Lincoln at the White House in Washington. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the name is familiar.
Yeah, I was thinking that not the Waldo, but the Emerson part seems familiar to me.
Well, there's Emerson something and something or whatever. That's an insurance company. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Well, he was an essayist, lecturer, philosopher, minister, abolitionist, and a poet who led the transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. 1864, Second Schleswig War began when Prussia and Austrian forces crossed into Schleswig, challenging Danish control. That would cause it. We also have 1865. J.S. Rock, the first black Stadian lawyer to practice in the U.S. Supreme Court, was admitted to the bar. Excellent. And while that was going on, U.S. President Lincoln signed the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, abolishing slavery in the U.S., celebrated as National Freedom Day. Now, I heard from, I saw a video talking about misconceptions of history. Now, the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment and all that stuff, it freed Southern slaves, not Northern slaves, Southern slaves. But I think slavery was illegal up north. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until, like, the 14th Amendment, I think, that slavery was fully abolished. Hold on a second, because this is saying the 13th. What is the 14th Amendment? Hold on a second. 14th Amendment. Reconstruction. Okay, so that's... Okay, never mind. So that's post-war reconstruction of everything.
Yeah.
And all that jazz. Anyway, 1867, Operative Bricklayer Society, unionists in London, England, started working 8-hour days instead of 9. All right. 1871, Jefferson Long of Georgia was the first black statesman to make an official speech in the U.S. House of Representatives, opposing leniency to former Confederates. Well, that makes sense. 1880, the first edition of theatrical newspaper, The Stage, was published, and then 1 year later, the U.S. Assay Office in St. Louis, Missouri, was authorized. 1884, we have the first volume of the Oxford English Dictionary, A to Ant, was published, and here's an image of those books. And what's interesting is they're not all uniform in size, especially these two. Look how fat this guy is, and how skinny that guy is. What's going on? That's weird.
I don't know.
1887, Harvey Wilcox of KS subdivided 120 acres he owned in Southern California and started selling it off as real estate development, thus birthing Hollywood. Yeah. 1892, Mrs. William Astor invited 400 guests to a grand ball at her mansion, thus beginning the use of 400 to describe the socially elite. Never heard of that.
No.
I guess it went out of practice since then. 1893, Thomas Edison completed the world's first movie studio in West Orange, New Jersey, titled The Black Marie. And here's an image. The first movie studio ever. And all the way out in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. But yeah, of course, he has it all blacked out, so that way
no light.
Foreign light.
Yeah, no natural light.
Yeah. 1895, Fountains Valley, Pretoria, the oldest nature reserve in Africa, was proclaimed by President Paul Kruger. So I wonder if it is now the oldest nature reserve, because this is when it was proclaimed. The way this is written, it sounds like it was already one, and then he proclaimed it. But without proclaiming it, is it one?
Well, I would think not.
See, these are the details that the English language, really screws up.
Well, they didn't write it well.
Yeah. We have 1997, the first auto insurance policy in the U.S. was issued by Travelers Insurance Company, a.k.a. Tick. You don't want to tick while driving, though, So, 1897, Shinhan Bank, the oldest bank in South Korea, opened in Seoul. Sounds like a Rothschild thing. Moving on up in the 1900s, 1902, China's Empress Tasu Hsi forbade the binding of women's feet. Good.
Yeah.
And that was actually a big thing in their culture, binding feet. It was still a big thing in Japan until, more recent times.
Well, they banned it in 1902.
I'm talking about Japan.
Oh.
This is China. And, they could have, unbanned it after she died, who knows. But I'm saying, it was, in the mid-1900s before Japan or something really stopped having that into practice. But it was big in a lot of Asian. It's all about petite feet and everything.
Yeah, and then there's in Africa, there's
the necks.
The neck.
Well, don't forget the big ass discs, in the earlobes and the nose and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, the big lip discs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Fry an egg on those things. Probably can in that heat, So, 1902, U.S. Secretary of State John Hay protested granting Russia exclusive privileges in China on ground that it runs contrary to the open door policy, granting all nations equal rights there. Yeah, it does. 1905, Dutch soccer club ADO Den Haag formed in The Hague. ADO represented the amateur branch of the club. All the way in 1905. 1906, the first federal penitentiary building completed, Leavenworth, Kansas. Now, do you know where the term penitentiary, like, you know, to penalize, penal colony, you know, like where all that came from?
No.
Penance.
Ah, serve your penance.
Yes.
Penitentiary, that makes sense.
Yes. It's like, contrary to the horrible thing it is today, the justice system, the criminal system, the jail system, prison, penance, all that stuff, it's supposed to be of rehabilitation, to serve your penance, to serve your time, not as punishment of a crime, but of a learning experience of why you did, well, you know, of what you did, why it was wrong, not as punishment for what you did. There's a massive difference.
Yeah.
We've gone the exact wrong way in this country. You know? 1908, in a high-profile trial, U.S. Railway heir Harry Kendall Thaw was found not guilty of murdering architect Stanford White on grounds of insanity in a New York court. Yes. Yeah, wow. Talk about bullshit right there. Somebody pulled something. We also have King Carlos I of Portugal and his heir, Prince Luís Felipe, were assassinated by Republican sympathizers in Tierra de Paco, Lisbon. So it was a regicide. 1909, U.S. Assay Office in Salt Lake City, Utah opened. And we also have U.S. forces withdrew from Cuba after liberal Jose Miguel Gomez became president. Ensuing political instability will bring a threat to U.S. intervention in 1912. 1911, the first British labor exchange opened. And 3 years later, 1913, U.S. all-around athlete Jim Thorpe signed to play baseball with the New York Giants. Unlike his other sporting endeavors, the Olympic medal winner's career in MLB was uninspiring, lasting for 6 years, though, until 1919.
I had no idea he played professional baseball.
He tried. So.
Yeah. Well, he did for 6 years.
Yep. 1914, Chicago White Sox and New York Giants play a 10-inning 3-3 tie in Cairo, Egypt, in an exhibition MLB game, part of a special 56-game World Tour. Nice. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
1914, Pennsylvania State Board of Motion Picture Censors appointed. So they appointed people to censor.
Yeah.
1914 as well, Tanganyika Railway opened in Eastern Africa. Okay. 1917, German Grand Admiral Alfred von Tirpitz announced unrestricted submarine warfare against Allied shipping. Spoke about that yesterday. About, what's-his-face, von Hindenburg, or whatever. And this is von Tirpitz. 1918 as well, German spy Lothar Witzke was arrested by CIP agent Byron S. Butcher at the U.S. border at Nogales, the only German spy sentenced in the U.S. during the First World War. And the CIP, I think, is a predecessor to the CIA. But what was it? Nope, CIP, CIA, I think. No, CIP 1918. Check it. Corps of Intelligence Police. Former intelligence agency within the United States Army. Okay. So, it maybe
part of the military then.
Yeah. It's still around, it looks like. Well, this says post-World War I. U.S. Army Corps of Intelligence Police Badge post-World War I. So, isn't the Army Corps of Intelligence still around?
Army Corps of Engineers is still around, but I don't know about intelligence. At least they don't advertise it.
Wait a minute.
I've never heard the term.
Oh, hold on a second. After World War I, the CIP was shrunk and its budget cut until, by 1941, it had a staff of only 16. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the CIP was reorganized, expanded, and renamed the Counterintelligence Corps.
Ah.
Okay. Counterintelligence Corps goes on.
I think they have something like that.
Yeah.
Counterintelligence.
Yeah, it's showing this the same badge that I was looking at, though, on the other thing. Anyway, we gotta move on up here. 1918 as well, Russia adopted the Gregorian calendar, making the day February 14th. So today in Russia, I'd be 39.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd already be 80.
Thank you.
1920, the first commercial armored car was introduced in St. Paul, Minnesota. How fitting. We also have the Royal Canadian Mounted Police formed as the Royal Northwest Mounted Police. Formed as the Royal Northwest Mounted Police merged with the Dominion Police. So those two merged and then made the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Mounties, as we know today.
Yeah.
And it's telling me to image search this, and I remember there's a picture with with some text next to it that I want to read here. It says here, let's see if I can bigger this. Oh, here we go, perfect. The Northwest Mounted Police Force, or NWMP, first came to picture on May 23rd, 1873, when the Dominion Parliament passed an act establishing a police force that will administer the Northwest Territories. On August 30th, 1873, the act was approved and the Northwest Mounted Police Force was established. The government recruited 150 young men who were all able to read and write either in Spanish or English language, and who were all good horsemen. That's interesting. Spanish instead of French.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
The recruited men marched towards the western state at Fort Garry, now known as Winnipeg, all throughout the winter season. They were all armed with some small artillery pieces, small short-barreled rifles known as carbines, and pistols. The government realized that the force was too small to handle the areas in the northwest areas, and so they recruited and sent another group of 150 men the following spring to join the first group. And that's the start of it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
1923, fascist voluntary militia formed in Italy under Benito Mussolini. That is alarming, or very concerning right there. And here's a picture of a Mountie.
Yeah.
I'm just showing images. 1924, Ramsay MacDonald's incoming Labour government formally recognized the Soviet Union. It says here, we have from another source, this is a different article, but it ties in. The United Kingdom and Russia relations were restored over 6 years after the Communist Revolution. So I wonder if that's because of this. If this guy's incoming government, because he formally recognized the Soviet Union.
Right.
And then this is talking about the relations, so it has to tie in.
Good.
So, 1925, First National Conference of KBT's Rotfront-Kampfverbund in Berlin. And I just wanted to read that because this word, look at that word.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's what I just tried to read.
Good Lord.
1926, the Broadway Melody, directed by Harry Beaumont and starring Betsy Love, was released. The first film was sound to win an Oscar, later to receive the Outstanding Picture of 1930. Awesome. While that was going on, we have the first clean and jerk of 400 pounds, or 182 kilograms, was done by Charles Rigolet, 402.5 pounds, specifically.
You know what a clean and jerk is?
Like lift like that or something?
Yeah, you bring it up, and then you get under, you drop.
Yeah.
And then you push the rest of the way.
Now, is that the one where you have your hands like this?
I'm not sure if they do it like that or like that, but it's basically up, drop under it, and then lift it up.
Yeah, I've seen some people do it.
Yeah,
like that, yeah. Or maybe that's a different lift. I'm not sure. 1929, Phi Alpha Phi, the first Asian American interest fraternity in the United States, is founded at UC Berkeley. That sounds rather xenophobic and problematic.
Yeah.
Asian interests in the United States. What about the melting pot? Huh? What about that? You come here to assimilate to our culture. I mean, if we go to China or Asia or wherever, we're not going to find a white interest fraternity over there, are we? So why the hell should we have one over here? 1933, Dutch bishops forbade membership of non-Catholic unions. And we also have German Parliament was dissolved by President Paul von Hindenburg by the request of new Chancellor Adolf Hitler.
Oh,
here we go. This is when it started. 1934, Austrian Chancellor Engelbert Dollfuss dissolved all political parties but his own right-wing fatherland front of Vaterlandse Front. Okay? 1937, Stapleton, Staten Island became a customs-free port. Alright. In 1940, NBC performed the first intercity television broadcast from its station in New York City to another in Schenectady, New York, by the General Electric relay antennae.
Yeah.
Wow. We also have, while that was going on, in 1940, the Soviet Union began a new offensive against Finland, them in that winter war. 1942, Mao Zedong made a speech on on reform and learning, the party and literature, which put into motion the Yan'an rectification movement. And there is a scene Kundun. There's a movie called Kundun that I still gotta watch. But there's this one scene that's very powerful, and I'm only gonna play a portion of it. This is when the Dalai Lama is meeting with Mao Zedong, and Mao Zedong is of course being a pompous communist asshole because that's what they do. But there's this one section here, and a lot of people don't really get this. But I'm going to show this to you and tell me what you see. Did you see anything interesting right there?
Very shiny shoes.
How can he be a man of the working people with shiny shoes? Never trust a man with clean shoes. Ever. 1942, Voice of America, the official external radio and television service of the United States government, began broadcasting with programs aimed at areas controlled by the Axis powers. Propaganda. We also have U.S. Navy conducted Marshal Gilbert's raids, the first offensive action by the United States against Japanese forces in the Pacific Theater. Yep. So between Pearl Harbor and now, which that actually wasn't, that was only like a month or so. Well, like a month and a half?
Yeah, that's true.
December 7th, 1941.
Yeah. 2 months. Almost.
And then 1942.
Less than 2 months.
Oh, yeah, well, February 1st. Okay. That's a really quick response when you think about it. 1943, Mussert formed a pro-Nazi shadow cabinet in Netherlands. 1944, Supreme Soviet increased Soviet Republic's autonomy. 1946, Norwegian politician Trygve Lie was elected the first Secretary General of the United Nations. Someone named Lie. Yeah, I don't trust him. So. 1946, the Republic of Hungary proclaimed Zoltán Tildy as its communist president. And it says here, the Parliament of Hungary abolished the monarchy after 9 centuries and proclaimed the Hungarian Republic, and the National Assembly proclaims Hungary a republic. So, I gotta merge all three of these things because they're all talking about the same event, different semantics about it. I gotta merge all three. That's why so many articles seem confusing, because this time next year, I'm not going to be doing all the research writing. I've already done it this year, and then I just combine everything and get it ready for the website. 1948, important South African anti-apartheid novel "Cry the Beloved Country" by Alan Paton was published in the U.S. Gotta find that. 1948 as well. Johnny Palmer set a 36-hole PGA Tour scoring record with rounds of 62 to 64 and the Tucson Open. Finished runner-up by 1 stroke to Skip Alexander to cards tournament record total 264. That sounds impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. 9 Malay sultanates and 2 British Strait settlements, the Penang and Malacca, formed the Federation of Malaya. All right. 1948 as well, Palestine Post building in Jerusalem was bombed. 1950, the USSR demanded condemnation of Emperor Hirohito for war crimes. I agree with them. And we also have the first prototype of the MiG-17 made its maiden flight. Now I wonder, because these both happened in 1950 on the same day, and obviously the MiG is Russian, so I wonder if this one happened before this one. So if the USSR is sitting there demanding condemnation of Emperor Hirohito, and then they're like, or else, and then this MiG flies overhead. You better condemn Emperor Hirohito. And here's a picture of that bird. Many a pilot feared that thing. 1951, we have the first X-ray moving picture process was demonstrated. That sounds pretty cool.
X-ray moving picture. What does that mean?
Well, as in instead of just a picture, it's a live X-ray image. So, you know what? Let me see if I can find it. These are just this would be an X-ray moving image. It's an X-ray, and they're swallowing something.
Okay.
So that's an X-ray moving image.
Yeah.
1951, arms manufacturer Alfred Krupp, at the age of 43, and 28 other convicted German war criminals were granted amnesty. We know about Krupp. They're working with us now. This sounds like part of Operation Paperclip here. Do you know what Operation Paperclip is?
No.
Let me, I'll just, so I'm not paraphrasing, Operation Paperclip. It was a secret U.S. intelligence program in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from former Nazi Germany to the U.S. for government employment after the end of World War II in Europe between 1945 and 1959, in which this is right in the middle of that. Several were confirmed to be former members of the Nazi Party, including the SS or the SA. And we have here now arms manufacturers that are being granted amnesty. Sounds like they're involved with this. You know,
yeah, well, they're useful.
They're evil. No. In 1951, the UN condemned the People's Republic of China as aggressor in Korea. Well, they were. Mm-hmm. So, in 1951, U.S. performed nuclear tests in Nevada test site, and this was the first live television broadcast of such a detonation by KTLA in Los Angeles, California at 5:30 in the morning local time. And this is, I believe, an image of it. It's wild how they have all these other streams. I don't know what all those other, I guess just for a show.
I don't know.
But I'm going to look up this article and see if I can actually find the legitimate 928 nuclear tests in Nevada. Well, look at all those craters.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Cow versus underground nuclear test. What?
Uh-oh. I think the cow's going to take it to the shorts.
Oh my god, it's not on the ground. Did you see that? It was hovering.
Yeah.
Like the ground subsided and it was
the vibration.
No, look, he's not touching.
Yeah.
Like, you know the feeling you get in a roller coaster where you go over and you're not in your seat? That's what happened. The whole ground subsided. Whoa, that must have been trippy.
You know, I just wonder if they put those cows out there for a test to see what it'd do to them.
Well, yes.
We're that kind of evil of a species.
Well, we are. I guess you can say that is not grounded beef. Well, 1952, the first TV detector van began operating in the UK to identify users of unlicensed television sets. Can you imagine the audacity of these motherfuckers? They're going around trying to catch their citizens. You know,
unlicensed television.
Yeah.
Sets. Your TV had to be licensed?
They still do to this day. They got rid of that a while ago, and then recently, the past 5 some odd years, the Britain's come back with that.
Wow.
And it's not just that. If I lived in the UK and I wanted to watch YouTube on my phone, I have to buy a television license. They are strangling. We think California is bad with taxes. Europe, especially the British, they got their citizens by the scrotum with taxes.
Now they're coming up with, it hasn't passed the Senate, but it's passed the House, the State House, mileage tax.
Yeah, talk about, well, we don't have to.
No.
1952, a general strike against French colonial rule in Tunisia. Okay. 1955, Hap Day became the first man to serve as Toronto Maple Leafs captain, coach, and general manager when he was appointed to run the famous Canadian NHL club. All right. 1956, Hog Daily newspaper revealed war crimes of Hog mayor show kicking. All right. We also have Hayes Allen Jenkins led the only U.S. sweep of Olympic men's figure skating medals at the Cortina d'Ampezzo Winter Games. Ronald Robertson won the silver with bronze to Jenkins' younger brother, David. All right. 1957, the first black pilot, P.H. Young, on a U.S. scheduled passenger airline. Cool. It's not that guy. He ain't black, but this guy. They don't have a picture of him. 1957, this dude here, Felix Wankel's first working prototype, DKM-54 of the rotary Wankel engine, was running at the NSU, I guess, well, not New South Wales, NSU, North State University, Nevada State University, I don't know. Research and Development Department Versuchsversammlung TX in Germany. Well, it's not
so
Nevada.
It's a Germany calling.
Yeah.
But Winkle engine? I never heard of it.
Let me. It's an engine. I looked it up on image search while trying to find stuff for the thumbnail. And whoops, wait a minute. I got the wrong one. This one here it is. 1 second. There we go. All right. It's right here. It's just some engine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's still cool. You know, I'm not trying to. Oh, it's just some engine, whatever, blasé.
I mean, looks like the rotary engine.
It is. I think it's of the rotary Wankel engine. It is a rotary engine. 1958, Egypt and Syria announced plans to merge in the United Arab Republic. I don't think they did because Egypt and Syria are still two separate countries to this day. 1958 as well, Manchester United defeated Arsenal 5-4 at Highbury in the team's last game on British soil, 5 days prior to the plane crash at Munich airport that killed 7 players. And it says here from the other source, Tommy Taylor scored 2 goals and Duncan Edwards won in Manchester United's 5-4 win versus Arsenal at Highbury. Pair amongst 7 players killed 5 days later when team's charter plane crashed at Munich airport. So, yeah, these 2 people did die.
Yeah.
That's awful. 1958, the first U.S. satellite, Explorer 1, was launched. It was removed from primary source for some reason. 1959, outfielder Zach Wheat, a Brooklyn Roberts favorite of the 1910s and 20s, was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Wheat had hit .317 over a 19-year career and batted .300 or better 14 times.
Wow.
So, yeah, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We also have Swiss men voted against voting rights for women. Shame on you, Swiss men. You know, you people are full of holes, I swear. 1960, the first civil rights sit-in at Woolworths in Greensboro, North Carolina. 4 black students, Joseph McNeil, Franklin McCain, David Richmond, and Isiel Blair Jr., spent the day waiting to be served at the segregated lunch counter in a peaceful protest. And they're sitting here, I guess, in the white section. So, or I guess they weren't being served because they didn't have a colored section. I don't know. But whatever, this is the first sit-in. 1960, not that one. 1961, first full-scale test of U.S. Minuteman ICBM was successful.
Yeah.
Yes. And we also have Australian cricket tail enders Ken Mackay, 67 no, and Lindsay Clean, 15 no, hang on for 100 minutes to earn a famous draw on the final day versus West Indies in 4th Test in Adelaide. Woo! We also have British Prime Minister Enoch Powell made medical insurance more expensive. What a dick. He even looks like a dick. Look at him. He looks like the supermarket.
How he pulled that off.
Well, because he's a British.
More expensive.
Because he's a British. They always figure out ways. He looks like the supermarket guy from Hot Fuzz, just older.
I don't know what you're Hot Fudge. I don't know what you're talking about.
The movie Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz. Supermarket owner. This guy here. It's a movie. It's a British movie. But you see this guy.
Okay.
It's this actor, but right here, specifically here.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
And does he not look?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just older.
Yeah.
So, 1961, John Hudson's film drama The Misfits officially premiered at the Leo's Capitol in New York City after a sneak preview at Reno, Nevada's Granada Theater. The final movie for both Clark Gable and Marilyn Monroe was written by Monroe's husband, Arthur Miller, and also featured Montgomery Clift. Yeah. 1962, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a debut novel by Ken Kesey, was published by Viking Press. So this is the book.
Turned into a movie. Is a hell of a movie.
Yeah, with Bill Murray. Not Bill Murray.
No.
What's the other actor who doesn't give a fuck?
Oh, I can't think of his name.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, 1962, MLB's National League released its first 162-game schedule due to expansions, 18 games between opponents. In 1964, Athabasca Dam was completed on the Suriname River. It sounds pretty cool.
I don't even know where that is.
Neither do I. The French sisters Christine Guillotil got the gold and Mario Guillotil got the silver, becoming the first female siblings to win Olympic gold and silver in the same event when they dominated the slalom in Innsbruck. Yeah. Excellent.
That was in 1964.
Yes, it was. We also have Indiana Governor Matthew Walsh tried to ban Louie for obscenity. Yeah. And the Beatles' first #1 hit, I Wanna Hold Your Hand. Topped the Hot 100 and stayed #1 for 7 weeks before being replaced by She Loves You, also by the Beatles.
She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We also have the former world heavyweight boxing champion Floyd Patterson defeated Canadian George Chulovlo by unanimous decision in a 12-round non-title clash at New York's Madison Square Garden. The ring named Bout's Fight of the Year.
And then he lost it to Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston lost it to Muhammad.
Oh yeah, Floyd Patterson, the boxing cowboy. 1965, Martin Luther King Jr. and 700 demonstrators were arrested in Selma, Alabama. Yep. You want to talk about fighting for real civil rights? Look at what this guy went through. 1965, National League adopted emergency team replacement plan to restock any clubs struck by disaster. That would make sense. You know? Yeah. You put an entire team on an airplane. If the airplane goes down, you're going to lose a portion of that team.
True.
1965, Peter Jennings, at the age of 26, became anchor of ABC's Nightly News.
Pretty young. Wow.
Yeah. And 2 years later, severe bushfires in Tasmania destroyed $11 million and killed 60 people. We also have the 10-team American Basketball Association, ABA, with George McCann as commissioner, was formed and lasted 9 years. Its three-point shot remained as a feature of the game.
Yeah. Well, when the successful franchises they kept, and then some of them died.
Yeah.
And they brought them into the NBA.
Yeah, and
they kept the three-point shot. Now, they had a crazy ball that was red and white or something, and they said, no, we ain't using that.
They should have added blue, and then it'd be America ball. No. But we had a whole conversation on a IOYO, I'm okay, you're okay show about the three-point. Should it still be a thing? Should they different it? Because the magic is gone. They algorithm the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So...
I think it's changed the game for the worse.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And if anybody's interested, go check out I'm Okay, You're Okay.
And yet I agree, as farther out it has a greater value. That I agree with.
Yeah.
But it changes the way you play the game, and I don't like that.
Yep. But see, that's the thing. Eventually, they're going to find every corner to cut, and the closest, there's always going to be the meta. And then eventually everybody's going to be doing that. Then there's going to be no diversity. Everybody's going to be doing the same thing because that's the best way to do it.
I also, and I believe it was the WNBA, like their All-Star game. Could have been the NBA, but I'm not sure. But I think it was the WNBA. They had rings out by the logos. They had two of them. A big ring with something in it. It was solid. If you shot from there, it was a 4-point play.
They should probably bring that in. But then...
Well, but that was exhibition. The All-Star game.
Yeah. Anyway, 1968 here, former U.S. Vice President Richard Nixon announced a candidacy for president. 1968, Saigon Police Chief Nguyen Ngoc Loan executed Viet Cong officer Nguyen Van Lim with a pistol shot to the head. The execution was captured by photographer Eddie Adams and became an anti-war icon, as well as it was captured on motion camera as well. But I'm just going to look up the image, I don't want to see somebody getting shot in the head. I've seen that enough. But this famous photograph, this is what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
The photograph. I didn't see the actual. I saw the footage of it, not just photograph.
So the footage and the photograph.
Yeah.
Is what this is when it happened on this date, 1968.
Wow.
Yep. 1968 as well, the Pennsylvania Railroad and New York Central were merged into Penn Central Transportation. All right. 69, in his first start in a Ford, legendary driver Richard Petty won the Motor Trend 500 at Riverside, California. Previous 92 NASCAR victories were in Plymouth. So topple.
I don't believe they run those out there anymore.
Probably not.
Riverside.
Probably not. Too expensive.
Old stadium, but it died.
Yeah. And we also have Tim Wood won his second of 3 straight U.S. men's figure skating titles, whilst Janet Lund took the first of her 5 consecutive women's national championships in Seattle. Yeah, normally if it was just one or the other, I wouldn't, cover it. But 2 people are doing something with a spree, so I got to cover that.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. 1970, former MLB Commissioner Ford Frick, as well as ex-players Earl Combs and Jesse Haynes were elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. West Germany and USSR signed a gas contract. Then we have 1972, Kuala Lumpur became a city by royal charter granted by the Yang di Pertulan Agong of Malaysia. All right. The first scientific handheld calculator, the HP-35, was introduced for $395 on this date in 1972, as well as Wings released their single, Give Ireland Back to the Irish in UK. I agree, free Ireland.
Isn't that Wings? He's the founder. He's one of the Beatles, right?
Somebody of the Wings, yes. I believe, yeah, you're right. 1 year later, outfielder Monty Irvin was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame by the Special Committee on the Negro Leagues, 4th inductee through the committee. Now, did the Negro Leagues have their own Hall of Fame? I think they did.
They certainly may have, but I know a lot of them ended up in the Hall of Fame when they originally weren't.
As they should.
As they should, for sure.
Yes. Now, I was wondering if they did.
Page and the rest of them.
Yes, I was wondering if they did, and if they merged those into the official, and if they should. So, 1974, Kuala Lumpur was declared a federal territory. We just spoke about that. Well, it became a city by royal charter, and then now it's a territory.
Okay.
So now it's a city-state or a province or whatever. It's growing. Yeah. We also have a fire in the 25-story Jolima building in Sao Paulo, Brazil, killed 189 people and injured 293 others. And in 1975, Otis Francis Tabler was the first open homosexual to get security clearance to work for the Defense Department. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
1976, Sonny and Cher resumed TV variety show despite real-life divorce, now titled The Sonny and Cher Show.
Yeah.
So, 1978, director Roman Polanski skipped bail in the U.S. and fled to France after pleading guilty on charges of engaging in intercourse with a 13-year-old girl. I hope they hunted him down to the ends of the earth.
He fled to Europe.
What a piece of shit. Oh. 1978, Harriet Tubman was the first black stadion to be honored on a U.S. postage stamp. Hell yeah. She's one of my absolute heroes. God bless Harriet Tubman. 1979, U.S. publishing heiress Patty Hearst was released from prison for bank robbery. We spoke about her sentence being commuted.
Reamed, in my opinion.
Yeah, but she was also radicalized, and
She was radicalized, so is that a brainwash?
Yeah, but I mean, if she's that easily brainwashed, how?
Well, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's the question is, was she brainwashed?
Yeah, but how easily was she brainwashed? What's the context of her character? Does she really stand on anything, or is she just going with whatever the tide goes? 1979, Iranian Ayatollah. Because remember, she's the descendant of somebody in the media, and the media is notorious for going with whatever the status quo is. Well, anyway, 1979, Iranian Ayatollah Khomeini returned to Tehran after 15 years of exile. Yeah. And English international forward Trevor Francois became Britain's first £1 million soccer player when he transferred from Birmingham City to Nottingham Forest. Moving on up into the 1980s, the soap opera Love of Life ended a 28-year run. In 1981, the Dutch Antilles census was 231,932 people. All right. The French government accords sent 60 Mirage fighter jets to Iraq. That doesn't sound good at all. And the underarm bullying incident of 1981 occurred when Trevor Chappell bowled underarm on the final delivery of a game between Austria and New Zealand at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, MCG. So apparently they don't like it when you bowl underarm, but it wasn't illegal. Well, you're supposed to bowl overarm, I guess, but...
Overhand?
Yeah, but that's not bowling, that's pitching. You don't throw a bowling ball like this down the lane. No. You bowl, And then that makes me think, the granny shot, Shaquille O'Neal with his free throws,
He wouldn't do it that way. That's what they wanted to teach him to do.
Yeah. Well, he let his ego get in the way of his success.
Well, what it was Shaquille and I can't think of his name right offhand, but he was one of the all-time great percentage free throw shooters, and he wanted to teach Shaquille how to do it underhand. He could become an 80 to 90% free throw. He would have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, because his ego got in the way of his progress.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to throw like a woman. Like, okay.
The little kids, little kids do that because they can't get it up there any other way.
If it works, it works. If it's meta, do it.
Yeah.
1982, Late Night Show with David Letterman debuted on NBC TV. Bill Murray was his first guest. Yeah. 1982 as well, the Intel 80286 was released, which introduced protected mode memory. The IBM PC-AT and its clones used the CPU, Central Processing Unit.
Oh.
1984, Indian diplomat Ravindra Madri was kidnapped and murdered by Kashmir terrorists in Birmingham, England. We're going to be talking about somebody else who suffered a fate very much like
Kashmir,
that.
Kashmir, they have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. 1989, the comet Schwarzman was at perihelion, its closest approach to our sun. 1989, the Western Australian towns of Kalgoorlie and Boulder amalgamate to form the city of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. Okay. 1991, Afghanistan and Pakistan was hit by an earthquake, and a 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit the Hindu Kush region, killing at least 848 people in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and present-day Tajikistan. And our primary source states 1,200 people died. So between 848 to 1,200, a lot of people died. 1991 as well, South African President F.W. de Klerk said he will repeal all apartheid laws. But did he? Yes, he did. So this is the other guy. Remember P.W. Botha and F.W. de Klerk. P.W. Botha is a piece of shit. F.W. de Klerk is a good guy. But they're both old white balding men with initials and a name. I get them confused quite often. We also have the U.S. Air and SkyWest Fairchild jet collided at LA Airport, killing 32 to 34 people, injuring 30 others. This was U.S. Air Flight 1493 and SkyWest Flights 5569 over LAX.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that big time.
1992, slugging outfielder Barry Bonds signed the highest single-year contract in MLB history, probably superseded now. $4.7 million with Pittsburgh Pirates.
People would be insulted today if you offered them that. Oh, I'm worth more than that.
Yeah, well, they should be told to kick rocks. 1992, the Chief Judicial Magistrate of Buffalo Court declared Warren Anderson, ex-CEO of Union Carbide, a fugitive under Indian law for failing to appear in the Big disaster case. Hunt him down. 1994, Jeff Gillespie pled guilty for his part in the attack on U.S. Olympic figure skater Nancy Kerrigan. The plea bargain confessed to racketeering in exchange for testimony implicating ex-wife Tanya Harding. We also have South African cricket fast bowler Fanny de Villiers bravely survived 197 minutes for 30 on last day of third test against Australia in Adelaide. Proteus finally all out 129. Australia win by 191. Draw series. Cool. 1995, the Utah Jazz guard John Stockton passed Magic Johnson's all-time NBA assist marks of 9,221 in a 129-98 win over the Denver Nuggets at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. 1995.
To me, he is the purest point guard that there ever was in the league. Just pure point guard. Not a great scorer, just a great passer, great director of the team. You could argue that Bob Cousy was one of those too, but other than that, Magic Johnson was super great, but not because he was more than just a point guard, but he directed the team too. This is just a point guard, little guy, that's all he does.
Yep. I was looking at this photo, and it almost looks like he's in like an Air Force uniform, and it almost looks like he's standing in front of something right here. But I clicked on it. He has a very short biography, so he did not serve any time in the military.
I don't think so. Came out of college, played basketball, retired. That's it.
I was just looking at the photo because it kind of looks like a military uniform.
Nah.
Well, it has the epaulet things.
Yeah.
So.
What college did you go to? Does it say it there?
Whoops.
If it doesn't say it quickly, don't worry about it. I really don't care.
It says Utah Jazz. No.
Okay.
So, his birthplace was Spokane, Washington.
Oh, Spokane, okay.
But that's where he was born. That doesn't mean that's where he played.
No.
You know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to look. You asked college?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, I want to look.
I'm
Johnston.
curious more than anything.
Johnston.
I know very little about him other than he played for the Jazz.
Jazz.
Made Karl Malone super great. He was great, but he made him super great.
Gonzaga College.
Oh, he went to Gonzaga. The Zags.
Oh, okay. 1996, the Communications Decency Act was passed by the U.S. Congress. Somebody can let us know in the comments section what that is. That'd be great. 1997, future Hockey Hall of Fame defenseman Ray Borscu scored a goal and an assist to become the Boston Bruins' all-time scoring leader with 1,341 points in an 18-year NHL career. 365 days later, Lillian E. Fishburne became the first female black Canadian to be promoted to Rear Admiral. Congratulations. 2002, Daniel Pearl, U.S. journalist and South Asia Bureau Chief of the Wall Street Journal, was kidnapped on January 26th and beheaded and mutilated by his captors. Yeah, I told you about. We spoke about the Indian thing. Yeah, 2003 as well. Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated during re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere on mission STS-107, killing all 7 astronauts on board. And this is very interesting because wasn't it just 2 or 3 days ago we spoke about the Challenger disaster?
Yeah.
So, 2 days apart, many years apart, obviously, but same time of the year. That is wild.
Yeah.
So, 2004, 251 people were trampled to death during the Hajj pilgrimage stampede in Saudi Arabia, and 244 additional people were injured. In 2004 as well, we have a wardrobe malfunction. Janet Jackson's breast was exposed during the halftime show of Super Bowl 38, resulting in U.S. broadcasters adopting a stronger adherence to FCC's censorship guidelines. And that was obviously completely set up. She knew, because the guy reached over, it was that quick. You know, if that was a legitimate article closing, the cup, because the whole thing, just that one section perfectly came off, and she had this big-ass nipple piercing thing. It was all by design. Yeah. She should have, been disbarred or whatever, like removed from entertainment entirely. That is disgusting. She is showing pornography on television towards children. She should be facing child pornography accusations. Disgusting individual. 2007, the National Weather Service in the United States switched from the Fujita scale to the new enhanced Fujita scale to measure the intensity and strength of tornadoes. Okay. 2008, Canadian jockey Russell Beige rode his 10,000th career winner aboard Two-Step Cat in third race at Golden Gate Fields, Albany, Canada, not Alabama. Prevailed in a 3-horse photo finish. 2008, Minnesota starter Johan Santana signed a 6-year, $137.5 million deal with the New York Mets to become the highest-paid pitcher in MLB history. Traded from Twins to Mets official the next day. And I'm going to get rid of these largest deals in history because they're constantly being broken.
Oh, yeah.
2009, Johanna Sigurðardóttir was elected as the first female Prime Minister of Iceland, becoming the first openly homosexual head of government in the modern world.
Wow, yeah.
All right.
Pretty progressive.
Yep. 2010, Australian cooking competition My Kitchen Rules, starring Manu Fidel, and Pete Evans as host, premiered on 7 Network, one of the highest-rated Australian television programs. Cool. We also have the International Civil Rights Center Museum opened in the former World War store in Greensboro, North Carolina, site of the first nonviolent lunch counter sit-in protest against racial segregation. Okay, yeah, 2010. So we spoke about that.
Yeah, a little bit ago.
Yeah. So it must have been, intentional to do it on this calendar date.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They did it on the day that it was.
Yep.
They did it.
2012, at least 73 people were killed and over 500 additional people were injured as a result of riots and clashes between fans of Egyptian football teams Al Masry and Al Ahly in the city of Port Said. 2013, 21 people were killed and 30 were wounded by... why am I reading that? 26 people were killed after a fireworks truck exploded and caused a highway to collapse in Henan, China. We also have Zenit 3SL, a Ukrainian-Russian carrier rocket, failed 40 seconds after liftoff and crashed in the Pacific Ocean. Well, better over the water than over land somewhere.
That's for sure.
The Shard 2013, the 6th tallest building in Europe, opened its viewing gallery to the public. Do you remember what the Shard is?
No.
You'll recognize it here in a minute. It's this one in Britain.
Yeah.
Looks like a giant shard. That's why it's called the Shard. 2014, The Lego Movie, a computer-animated film based on the Lego toys with voices including Chris Pratt and Will Ferrell, premiered in Los Angeles. The way they animated that movie is very interesting.
I don't think I ever saw it. It seems to me I did, but I don't remember it.
It's stupid, but it's also the technology and the way they animate it. It makes it look like it's stop motion. Because, like, it's not as if, like, they have a Lego figure and, oh, now it's all rubbery and they're having it walk around. Yeah. They have it walk around stiff.
It's almost like claymation.
Yes, exactly. Like, actually, let me just bring up a scene, for example. Like,
no, I know
Lego.
what you're talking about.
No, but like how they build, how they do things. Like, here, let me just play this.
Backup is waiting for you in your office.
No, I never saw this. Yeah.
I know, but you see how it looks all stiff and actually here, you can see how it's building and everything.
Yeah.
The way they animated this is amazing.
Yeah.
2014, Denver Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning became all-time record holder for MVP trophies, winning his 5th at the NFL honors in New York.
Wow.
Also, 2013 Defensive Player of the Year. 2014, Ray Guy of Oakland and LA Raiders became 2nd pure kicker and the 1st pure punter to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was. I remember him being drafted very early on in the college draft for a place kicker. It was unheard of in the 1st round somewhere.
Yep. 2014 Israel, Syrian civil war death toll reached 130,000, while 4 million are displaced. Yikes. 2016, Alphabet, Google's parent company, surpassed Apple as the world's most valuable company at $568 billion versus $535 billion US dollars after releasing income results. In Iowa caucuses, Republican Ted Cruz defeated Donald Trump and Democrat Hillary Clinton defeated Bernie Sanders by a coin toss. So they legitimately tossed a coin?
I don't think so.
So...
by the skin of the teeth, so to speak.
2016, Myanmar's first freely elected parliament in 50 years had its opening session in Nay Pyi Taw. All right. 2016 as well. We're in our last 10 years here.
Yeah.
Poor wealthier conditions strand 100,000 Chinese New Year travelers. Oh, poor weather conditions, not wealthier. That was weird. So poor weather conditions stranded 100,000 Chinese New Year travelers at a railway station in Guangzhou, China. And then the World Health Organization declared a global public health emergency over the rapid spread of Zika-linked conditions. Do not forget the Zika virus. I mentioned this the other day, but that it came out of, it was directly linked to a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation disease laboratory they had in Central America, and Bill Gates is an outspoken advocate for population control. And what does the Zika virus do? It causes birth defects. It was intentional. It was a test run. It was not an accidental release. 2018, archaeologists announced discovery of thousands of undetected structures in Mayan lowland civilization, Guatemala, using LiDAR, suggested a population of 10 million, all the way back then. And let me see if there's any. Well, this looks like actually no. This appears to be the actual LiDAR images. So, but look at that. You can see.
Man.
You know, they're penetrating the foliage of the jungle.
Yeah.
And this one is awesome. Look at that. The pyramid.
Wow.
And that's just all completely covered with foliage and everything, but they're detecting it.
They did it like an X-ray, but it's not an X-ray. But
yeah, it's crazy. 2018, Pedro Martinez was announced as part of the 2018 induction class for the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Cool. And Rashid Khan became the youngest player to top the ICC player rankings for bowlers and ODIs. Cricketer, Rashid Khan right here. We also have the Indian government announced plans to give 500 million people free health care. Yeah, doing what? Charging everybody out the nose in taxes? Yeah. 2019, January 2019 was Australia's hottest month on record, according to the Bureau of Meteorology. Well, that also sounds like literal bullshit. What'd you say?
They are down under, so it is their heat season.
U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed U.S. withdrawal from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty because of Russia's violation of said treaty. Well, that would make sense. If we're the only ones upholding it, why the hell are we upholding it?
They're known for cheating, too.
So are we. 2020, largest swarm of locusts across East Africa led to Somalia to declare a national emergency. Yes. And then Mohammed Tawfiq Al-Awai was appointed the new Prime Minister of Iraq by President Barham Salih after 4 months of protests. So something was happening that they didn't like. 2021, military coup in Myanmar. Civilian leaders were detained, including Aung San Suu Kyi, and a 1-year state of emergency was declared, which is still in effect, restoring military rule. So they're under a military dictatorship now for 5 years. Exactly.
If it's still going on.
Well, it says still in effect. 2021, right here.
Oh, you put still in effect.
No, they put right here.
Okay.
Our primary source right here
okay,
says still in effect.
Yep.
So it's not me. 2021, wildfires ignited on the outskirts of Perth, Australia, forcing evacuations amid 5-day COVID-19 lockdown. So ain't that a bitch? You're locked down and now you're, oh, never mind, get out of here, go.
Yeah.
2021 as well. The Wisdom the albatross, the world's oldest known bird, hatched a chick at the age of 70 at the Midway Atoll National Wildlife Refuge, North Pacific. Wow. 70-year-old bird still laying eggs.
What kind of bird is it? Does it say?
An albatross. Not probably. There's probably several species of albatrosses, but it's an albatross. 2022, at the age of 44, Tom Brady, regarded as the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, announced his retirement after a 22-year career and a record 7 Super Bowl titles with the New England Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It only lasted for 40 days. I remember he came back. We will be talking about him again, but first we have Queen Elizabeth Prize for Engineering, Nobel Prize for Engineering awarded in Masato Sagawa for inventing the neodymium iron boron NdFeB magnets. Cool. We also have a 5-year-old Moroccan boy, Ryan Aranum, fell in a 32-meter or 105 deep well in Ingrid village in Tamarut commune, Chefagorgan province, Morocco. Unfortunately, died 4 days later before rescue workers could get him. Now here to 2023, at the age of 45, Tom Brady, regarded as yada yada yada, retires again. 2023 as well, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band kick off their world tour at MLE Arena in Tampa, Florida. Pope Francis celebrated Mass with around 1 million people in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo, his second largest gathering. We also have rock singer Ozzy Osbourne announced the cancellation of upcoming concerts and his retirement from touring via social media due to health issues. He died recently, a couple weeks ago or so, or a couple months ago, actually. 2024, an auction of British musician Mark Knopfler's guitar collection realized $11.27 million US dollars, or 8.8 million GDP or GBP, Great British Pounds, I guess, with 25% earmarked for his favorite charities at Christie's Auction House in London, England. Just last year, last but not least, we have the first time in NBA history 2 reigning all-time NBA players were traded for each other mid-season. The basis of the deal saw Luka Doncic go to the LA Lakers and Anthony Davis move to the Dallas Mavericks. And we also have U.S. President Donald Trump announced 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% tariffs on China. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced retaliatory tariffs of 25% on $106.6 billion worth of American goods. Okay, yeah, you go for it, girl. Frickin'.
He was only in office for 10, 15 days.
Yeah.
When he did that tariff thing, the first one.
Yeah. And we have here an Australian Open for 2026. So they updated this today. But that shall conclude the show for today. Please check the underbar in the description for any links that you may find interesting, including one limited to all things Omni Coalition. We can only bring you a portion of today's history. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. Please check our sources for more. For all of you and all of us, I am AO Xander.
Golden Loon.
And UVRU. We stream the show every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Pacific Standard Time. That is 6 Mountain, 7 Central, and 8 Eastern. Tell you guys this next time, whatever that is. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection.